More dark woods. We can find something unique here, though. Some kind of sigil is drawn on the ground, and when we inspect it,
It was here 100 years ago that the beast was slain.
a beast, huh? I'd guess that skeleton on the title screen is probably related. State 2 takes us somewhere different, finally. The inside of some nondescript, dimly lit building. Scratch is there waiting for us. He tells us this is all that's left of the old kingdom. He also, oddly, mentions a woman he used to know, and says that he was sweet on her once. Is this guy like a 50s mobster? But she betrayed him, and is gone like everyone else. Okay, dude, trauma dumping? State 3 takes us back into some woods, but thankfully these look very different. It's light out, but a heavy fog envelops us, limiting our vision as much as the darkness. Through the fog as we roam these woods, the ghostly apparitions of a woman appear, calling out with chilling words.
Please help me. What is this place? Mocking me in the afterlife? You were meant for greatness. How could you?
It's odd. Is this spirit talking about us? What did we do? Are we responsible for her death? Or maybe she's calling out to someone else. After all, Scratch's words are the only reference to a woman, someone who is now gone. Can Scratch be trusted? Continuing through the fog, we can find a blood-red sword, which we're able to collect and can conveniently follow us through the save states from here on. State 4 takes us to an even darker, denser, and eerier sounding forest than before. Through the thicket, a strange creature emerges, resembling a massive octopus. Although your initial instinct might be to kill this beast, we can't. Instead, it leaves us with yet more ominous messages.
Even if you kill everything, there'll be one monster left.
This once again alludes to some sinister motive. If we kill every enemy we find, we'll be the only bloodthirsty killer left. Food for thought, but we haven't even run into any enemies yet, and either way, our job here is to help save the kingdom from famine. What is motivating these accusatory messages? State 5 is inaccessible, so we move right on to State 6, which begins to shed a bit more light on the suggested darker undertones of our simple night. It's a demo, the type of thing that plays when you leave some games alone for too long, playing through pre-recorded portions of the game. Here, the demo shows the player wandering through the woods, and whenever they come across a townsperson, brutally killing them in one strike. A scream and they're gone. Is this supposed to be the night? Is this the point of view of another entity? Perhaps this beast, the basilisk, returned from the dead? Is this why the kingdom was empty? All its inhabitants were slain? None of these options paint a particularly pretty picture, but if this really is the perspective of the night slaughtering innocent townsfolk, it could begin to explain why we've been hearing so many messages that seem to imply a darker side to our life. What's particularly interesting, and may further reinforce this idea that the knight we play as is the one responsible for the villagers' deaths, is that we actually see Scratch in this demo, but instead of killing him, we pass right by him. The only one who's spared is the shady figure who's helped this knight along so far. State 7 is our final accessible level. We're in a dark corridor, blocked by fallen rubble on one side and Scratch on the other, light shining behind him. Seeing as the other way is blocked, we approach Scratch.
Could you believe it? It seems nowhere is safe, not even a castle. To think that the basilisk made it all the way here.
So, at whatever point in the story this is, it seems this basilisk has returned 100 years after it was slain. Leaving Scratch behind, we travel into the light, which leads us back into the woods. And here is where we receive one of two different endings. If we never picked up the sword, after walking through the forest for a moment, a massive eye appears from the darkness. We only get a split-second glance before we're taken to a game on the screen. Presumably, that was the basilisk, and without a weapon to defend ourselves, we perished. So, let's come back more prepared. Collecting the sword and going back, we head into the darkness, ready to face the massive monster again. But this time, no monster appears. Instead, a knight emerges from the darkness, and... Finn. The end. Our sword cast aside in the grass, night turned to day. Sure, that seems to be a little more of a hopeful ending, but also... What? Who's the other knight? What happened to the basilisk? Well, I'll talk about my interpretation of the events here in a moment, but first, there's one last thing to discover in Stage 7. Stage 7 feels pretty limited. With the other path blocked, it seems like there's only one option. But there's a trick here with this rubble, one that may be familiar to those of you who are fans of Kira's work. A trick I'll call the false blockade. It shows up in Lost in Vivo too, spoilers for that for just a moment. In Lost in Vivo, you come upon a puzzle room in which you're trying to figure out the correct way to get this gate to open, allowing you to move forward. The solution to this puzzle? Walk right through. The gate has no collision. This is just one of many mind freaks that game throws at you, so if you know to look out for this sort of thing, you might be inclined to investigate further into this rubble. What you'll find is that the collision on the rubble itself doesn't extend the full width of the passageway, and you can simply walk around it. On the other side, you find that you really aren't supposed to have made it here. The walls fade away and the unfinished exterior of the level reveals itself. Off to one side, there's an object with the word error plastered on it, reminiscent of the game Gary's Mod, in which 3D models that can't properly be loaded are replaced with a glowing text that reads error. Interacting with the error behind the map reveals some more cryptic text.
Crossing this space won't get you anywhere. The vein that connects the two games. The devil is in the details. Oh, but the devil is in everything.
Your mind might already be racing to make sense of this, but we'll get to that in a moment. As of now, that's the most important stuff that can be found in Basilisk. Knowing how well hidden and tedious it can be to find a lot of the stuff in this game, I'm sure there are a couple things that I missed in some of these levels, and I'd encourage you to explore them for yourself if you have the patience. But so far, we've been pretty thorough, and I think we have enough information here to begin trying to piece together a bit of the story found within this unfinished game. By the game's very nature, the story elements are fractured and incomplete. We'll need to collect and assemble the pieces ourselves, and it's very likely we'll still get an incomplete picture. The best place to start would be taking stock of what we know. The scroll in the beginning tells us we're a knight and that the townsfolk have gone missing. What happened to them? Well, in the Stage 6 demo, we see someone slowly killing off all the villagers. Whose perspective are we seeing here? The immediate thought might be the basilisk, that the beast which was slain 100 years ago has returned. But there are a few strange things found elsewhere that muddy these waters. For one, the character in Stage 6 explicitly spares Scratch. What reason would the basilisk have to do that? In Stage 3, the ghosts of a woman throw accusatory messages at us, and in Stage 4, a strange creature speaks to us with the implication that we've gone on some kind of killing spree. These pieces seem to imply that it's actually us, the knight, who's killed all the villagers. Okay, so the game has a bit of a bait-and-switch twist, where we were the killer all along. That doesn't answer everything, though. What about the endings, the basilisk, and Scratch? Well, I think it goes further than just implying we're a killer. I think the game is trying to tell us that we are the basilisk. It's almost perfectly spelled out for us by the creature in the woods. Even after we've killed everyone, there will still be one monster. Us. A monster. A beast. But if we're a bloodthirsty killing machine, whose only goal is to murder everything, why do we spare Scratch? I think the answer to that lies in State 2. The second time we meet Scratch, he mentions, sort of out of the blue, that he used to know a girl that he loved, but she betrayed him, and now she's gone. Then in Stage 3, we see the recurring apparitions of a woman who says things like, "How could you?" casting an accusatory mark on us. I think these two women are one and the same, and that Scratch is more of an extension of the night, a sort of Fight Club moment. It would explain why Scratch was the only one to survive despite our desire to kill everything, and it would explain the parallel with the woman Scratch talks about in the Ghost. Scratch is just a projection of our character, in the same way that our character is both the knight and the basilisk. This woman betrayed the knight, and now she's gone. Alright, so there's another sort of twist. Scratch and the knight are one and the same, and the ghostly woman is the knight's past sweetheart who he murdered. That doesn't explain the two endings, and why the basilisk actually does show up, despite the knight supposedly being the basilisk all along. The explanation I have for these endings relies on a bit of a perspective shift. Depending on which ending we get, we see each side of the final confrontation, either from the basilisk's point of view of confronting the knight, or the knight's point of view confronting the basilisk. But doesn't my reading of this game imply that the basilisk and the knight are one and the same? Yes, which means this final confrontation is portraying an inner conflict. The knight and the bloodthirsty monster, the basilisk inside of him. Some of this may seem like a stretch, but it does make some sense when you consider what the creature in the woods says. Even if you kill everything, there'll be one monster left. Assuming that Scratch is just another projection of the knight, we've killed everyone. There's no one left for the basilisk to destroy, except itself. So the monster must destroy the knight, and the knight must slay the monster. It's the only thing left to do. It's a story of someone so filled with bloodlust that after he's slain everyone, the only one left to destroy is himself. This is why in the end, we see the sword fall into the ground. The knight is dead. And maybe that's why things look more hopeful in that final ending. The beast has been slayed, the monster plaguing this land is gone. That is my interpretation of the game's plot. There's some stuff here that might sound like a reach now, but as the series progresses, I think it becomes more possible. But we are still left with questions. For instance, what is the error and the recurring vein connecting the two worlds/games motif? Well, that is where simply looking at the Basilisk SNES ROM leaves us with incomplete answers. To find the link between the two worlds, we'll have to play both games, which takes us to Basilisk 2000. So, as with Basilisk for the SNES, Basilisk 2000's experience really begins on the itch.io game page. And if you thought a fake emulator was unconventional, wait until you see this. The description reads, explore an unfinished RPG through its level editor, the spiritual successor to the unreleased Super Nintendo game Basilisk. This project seemed far more ambitious, but somehow almost became lost media. Developed around the year 2000 by an unknown studio, the game was thought to be lost until a fan designed a wrapper program in Unity to load its level editor. Now the potential can finally be seen and its mysteries laid to rest. Sure enough, the screenshots continue to reveal the unorthodox way we'll be interacting with this game. Instead of a traditional game or even an emulator, we'll be playing through its level editor, a literal behind-the-scenes look using the developer tools to explore each level. Like Basilisk SNES, it's an unfinished game, but unlike its predecessor, Basilisk 2000 gives us many more tools to investigate with, as evidenced by the robust user interface seen in the screenshots. Also much like Basilisk SNES, this page gives us a 3D scan of the real-life compact disc the game was ripped from. This reveals some information, most notably the initials DB written in Sharpie at the top of the disc, along with some cursory information about the date and compatibility of the software. Inside our download folder, there's a few things to find, but for the sake of this video, we're going to go in blind and just boot up the game as is, and later on, we'll delve in here. Let's see what Basilisk 2000 has in store. Immediately, we load into the developer interface we saw in the screenshots. In the bottom right, we have a list of local items, game objects that are in our current level. Because we're not currently loaded into a level, it's empty. Above that, we have the window where we'll see our actual gameplay with information like our current coordinates in frames per second. To the left of that is a set of options that allow us to do things like toggle lighting, clouds, and foliage, as well as view the world in wireframe and switch between no-clip mode, where we can fly and move through objects, and walking mode. To the left of that, there's a series of game settings like mouse sensitivity, volume, render distance, and what weapon, if any, our character has equipped via item IDs. Below that, we have level notes, a sound player allowing us to play through various soundtracks for the game, and finally, a console, which allows us to load levels by typing load and then a level name. The note on this starting screen says Start Player in Havenwood, highlighted in yellow. We'll come to find that level names are all highlighted in yellow, so we'll want to keep a lookout for that. For now though, we can begin exploring this game with our first lead. Load Havenwood. Havenwood brings us to a small village, surrounded by a hilly forest. It seems to be a standard starting setting for a classic medieval adventure game. Various NPCs stand in the streets with fairly mundane dialogue, a guard telling you not to cause any trouble, a townsperson remarking on the beautiful day, a dog barking. Something that caught my eye immediately are these error objects scattered around, which look almost identical to the one found in the original Basilisk. Luckily, because we're playing through this game in developer mode, we can inspect these simply by clicking on them. Inspecting items and NPCs in this game allows us to see and even change a lot about them, from their health and darkness levels to their names, coordinates, and developer notes. This object, labeled Trigger Start, seems to be the game object associated with spawning the player and starting the game. Other arrows around the map appear to be improperly loaded NPCs or markers for particle effects, so these arrows seem to work similarly to Gary's mod, placeholders or stand-ins for objects that are either not loading properly or don't have a model to accompany them, like a start trigger or a particle effect. This Trigger Start object also comes with a note, leading us to somewhere called Open Sin in yellow. Maybe opening cinematic? Typing that into the console confirms this, loading a pre-rendered cutscene.
The asteroid is depleted. The asteroid is depleted.
The nights are growing strange. Some lights will turn like waters, and days grow hot and dry. Crops are dying, and some family follow. And now you arrive at the traveling town of Haven.
Fucking wolf scared me.
So it really is a successor to the original Basilisk. The same realm of Mycenae, a similar setup of a kingdom in peril, this time with a little more backstory. Talk of serpentine lights, a spreading blight, and Havenwood being our character's childhood home. Continued exploration of the town reveals some less than standard elements within this game, seemingly hidden away at first glance. You might initially find these when looking through the local items list, but it's important to note this list is almost always incomplete, and you'll need to do some of your own searching to find everything these levels have to offer. For one, there are a few NPCs here that are hidden, placed inside the models of these houses in a way we'd never be able to see if we didn't have the ability to no-clip through them. Inspecting these characters also shows us the dialogue or flavor text we would be greeted with if we interacted with them in the game as intended. One of the NPCs says they can't go outside for fear of getting someone sick, but the more disturbing find is a bloody corpse lying in the upper story of a house. The mutilated corpse of your childhood rival. Not only is this disturbing, it's confusing. Why is this here, in a place that is otherwise inaccessible to an actual player? Finishing our exploration of the town, we find a nondescript looking, untextured statue with the text, "Statue of the Torn Knight." Because its model seems to be a placeholder at this time, there's not much to go on in understanding who or what the Torn Knight is, so we're at a bit of a dead end. However, there is yet more to see in Havenwood. As the note for this level says, starting area okay, outside town needs work. Let's follow the roads out of town and see what we can find then. Traveling down the winding roads that cut through the forest, we can find signposts pointing us out of Havenwood to a place called Crossroads. A traveler NPC tells us they're searching for the lost Hall of Skeletons. Though we may have the impulse to immediately try loading these worlds up, let's try to finish exploring Havenwood first. Down another path, we come to a clearing where a large, religious-looking statue stands, also labeled as a statue of the Torn Knight. I suppose this is what the Torn Knight looks like, but exactly the significance of this character still remains a mystery. Leaving the path behind to explore the hills and woods themselves, we stumble upon a graveyard. An NPC named NPC Whitman.
Oh, cool, here we go, the Taskmaster. Oh, awesome, look.
Family isn't here. They don't let those afflicted with the serpent's curse to be buried here. A
Serpent's
serpent's
Maiden,
curse,
Snow Troll, and
Interestingly,
Nighter Queen.
if you play
Okay,
the
Bush
game at
Pig,
midnight,
huh?
even
In
when
the
it turns
forest,
dark,
okay,
and this
except
NPC can be seen
quantity
hunched
5
over
of them,
and
okay.
distraught, and tells us something new. Why can't we have the peace they all have?
Cool, and this will help me fix my
Aren't
my
that
renown
named out,
without
I
having
suppose?
to
Most of the
travel
gravestones here
anymore.
bear some variation of "here lies" and then a name. However, one can be found that reads, "Your eyes contribute to your
I don't
own
know, I'd
destruction."
like to sell
But
these.
more ominous is what you discover by clipping underneath the ground here. You'll find that
Oh,
under
hunted
every
task,
single
Bush Pig,
gravestone,
okay.
there is a bloody corpse. Again, while being unsettling
Well,
to find,
how hungry
it calls
am
into question
I?
just why they're here, when this would normally be completely inaccessible. Further in these hills, you can find a goblin encampment, housing a series of goblin enemies of
1753
various
out of
sizes.
1800. I'm really
You can also
hungry.
find some cats sitting around here, which seems pretty cute at first, until you see what the goblins are housing inside their tents. Inside one
Or
is a
creepy
dead
fat pig,
cat,
here we go.
and another is a prisoner pleading to be saved. Oddly, this prisoner has a pretty high darkness meter, and I'm not sure if this was intentional, but the story I feel is being
70
implied
seconds
here is
of
that
eating.
the goblins imprisoned this man after he killed one of their cats. Honestly, goblins, you can keep him. Deeper in the hills of Havenwood, what we begin to find gets stranger and stranger. An untextured cube
I'm learning that
floats
all the
on
tools are
outskirts of
good.
the level, titled Prop, Idol of Sorrow, and it begins playing a song titled Sorrow Draft when you're nearby. Similarly, an error can be found hidden away that begins to play an unsettling sound titled Null String when you're nearby. Judging by its
I was
title,
very
it probably
hungry,
has something
wow.
to do with an audio error of some kind, as a null string basically just means a string with no value at all. There are a few more hidden NPCs scattered in the woods, a serpentine monster enemy in the hills, and another traveling NPC who says, "I'm starving. I hope there's food in Taurus," with Taurus seemingly being a place we can load as well. Finally, a traveling merchant can be found lost in the hills with a cart of spilled items. One of these is a broken piece of a snake medallion with the yellow letters RIT engraved on it. Trying to load RIT gives us nothing, so we may have to find the other piece of this medallion to uncover what level it's pointing us towards. The game so far seems like a fairly normal adventure RPG, but it's scattered with strange and disturbing breadcrumbs, things that we wouldn't even be able to see if it weren't for our
Okay,
developer
good. We
abilities.
ate.
It's definitely strange and has me curious to continue exploring. For Havenwood, there's not much more to see, but we've been given a good handful of leads to follow, from Taurus to Desirist. I'd like to start simple though. Let's take note of all these places and start with the one the game is literally pointing to, Crossroads. Crossroads is a similarly wooded area as Havenwood. Most of the level is made up of various forest paths, leading to signs pointing us in different directions. The developer note here says, "Looks good so far. David B.
Wanna
So
buy a
we have one of the
bow.
developer's names, and it may be exactly the
Or
one
like
who
5
previously
well, I
had
wanna
the
buy
disc
5
this
spears
version
and
of
a
the game
bow,
comes
yeah.
from, judging
Give
by
me,
the
like,
DG written on it. Following a few of
2
the paths, their
gold.
signs lead us to places like Nimor and Chapel
I'll go buy
00,
bows
but
and
terminate
spears.
before we reach where they're pointing us. Presumably, in the release version of the game, it would load us to these levels automatically, but here in the level editor,
I don't
we'll
remember
have to
where
do
the
it manually.
weapon
We actually
and
can find our
armor
way to
is.
Chapel, but are unable to go inside, the door telling us that it would load us into the Chapel level. A pond shimmers serenely nearby,
Books.
stocked with lazily swimming fish and a sword. Inspecting the sword
Oh, there's a
gives us
butcher.
its
Oh,
item
animal
ID
material
number,
library.
so we can
Oh,
wield
okay.
it when
Oh,
in
the
walking
butcher
mode
table, huh?
if we'd like.
Oh.
The guard NPC stands outside the chapel,
there's
saying,
more
"I
than
came
one, I
all the
think.
way from Iceni Castle to see this chapel. Since we're here, we might as well load the chapel, just to see what's inside. Then we'll come back to Crossroads." Inside the dimly
magic.
lit chapel, 2 guards flank the room, and neither seem
Fishing.
very chatty. "Stay in the light, citizen. I'm on duty. Don't
Stay in the
bother."
light, citizen.
Underneath the large stained glass window, an altar stands, still adorned in a
Postal
dev texture.
service.
Lining the room toward the altar are 6 plates, 3 against each wall.
There.
These plates reveal a sort of creation myth. Long ago, in an age of famine and destruction, a brave knight stood against the dark basilisk. The knight
Okay,
slayed
so
the
I
basilisk,
want-
but even
Right
still
now,
the
I
kingdom was
want
lost.
that.
The knight cried out in pain as the only survivor
And
in the land. The knight clutched his sword tightly, and with one mighty swing, cut himself in
1,
two,
2,
separating himself
3.
into day and night. His day half took the form of a stone,
4,
which spun
5,
itself over and over,
6.
eventually smoothing into an egg. His night half took the form of water, which
Yes.
flowed in a circle surrounding the egg
Now,
and
the
turned itself
fancy
into a
spear
snake. The final plate is cracked,
with
incomplete,
higher damage
forming
is the
great
one I want to
mountains
use
and
right
canyons,
now.
and the snake fell back into water, creating the
Oh.
ocean. This story holds a lot of parallels to the story in Basilisk SNES. The night, the famine, the basilisk killing everyone. It paints the knight as the hero, however, so it may
Very
poke
good,
some
and then
holes in my
alt, and
original
then yep,
explanation.
and then I'll
I
put
suppose we'll learn more through exploring the rest of the game. Returning to Crossroads, there are a
5
couple landmarks
and
of note. A
6,
small
which is
graveyard is planted on the
5
top
and
of a
6,
large
and
hill.
then
Like the last
finally,
graveyard, bloody
I want
bodies lie
arrows, but
underneath
I'll
each
go get
gravestone.
those.
A series of hooded figures stand among the headstones, titled NPC S Cult. Cool, spooky cultists. Considering the serpent's curse we heard about in the last graveyard, and the serpent enemy found in Havenwood, I would assume the S
Okay,
stands for serpent
so
cult. Despite their sinister appearance, they're quite friendly. Only asking if you've seen their lost holy relic, the
yes,
holy
all that's
serpent
good,
fang
I
sword.
think,
We'll
except
keep an eye out,
for-
creepy snake
oh, there they
cultists.
are,
The
there
last thing to
those
see in Crossroads is a small mossy tower which stands among the trees. A golden staff blocks the
Oh, and then
stairway,
I want
and nestled just behind the
arrows,
tower
which I don't
is a
think I
single
have.
grave. You guessed it. There's a body under here, too. The story of this game is beginning to unfold in front of us, from the tales of the knight and the basilisk to the mysterious
I
serpent
guess
cult
I'll
and
buy
serpent's curse.
arrows.
With so many more places to see, we're sure to find more answers. Let's head to Nimor. Nimor is quite the change. of
Oh,
scenery.
I didn't buy
We find
armor?
ourselves in a
Armor
yellow-tinted
would be good.
desert, starting in a small village surrounded by dunes and large
Armor and
mountains.
arrows.
Most of the NPCs in town have some kind of darkness level, indicating it's not as pleasant a place as Havenwood. Within the small buildings, the town is made up of a corpse hanging from the gallows rests among an assortment of coffins. A guard watches on. What a waste. Caskets litter the streets of the village. While a shopkeep does appear to be in business, the rest of the town seems dire. An NPC pleads for help. "Please help us. My mother is sick and needs healing water." Inside the building behind them, an NPC with low health and 80% darkness lies, a serpentine shape snaking its way around the head, afflicted with a curse. Unfortunately for this family, another NPC does not give us hope. "Healing water? No, this place is dry as a bone. Ask someone else." Just outside of town, more serpent enemies seem to be encroaching. This town is in desperate need. Let's keep an eye out for healing water as we continue. Wandering out into this desert, a tower appears through the dust, its doorway half buried in the sand. Inside there's a smiley face emoji, like the one from Discord. The object's description is, "I know what you did." Interesting. Further into the landscape, we can find a series of massive
Oh, you don't
rusted
sell
ships
arrows?
wrecked
No,
in
that's the
sand,
other
along with
vendor.
some other things we'll find in Nimor. These ships seem to suggest that this desert used to be an ocean not so long ago, firmly juxtaposing not only its current arid landscape, but also its inhabitants' drought of healing water. Sitting among these ships is a kind of seal or symbol called signate. Elsewhere, we can find a series of massive rib bones jutting from the sand, the remnants of some long since dead beast. Under the map, we can see the rest of its skeleton, and its enormous skull. These skeletons are called whales, again a reminder of the ocean this place used to be. Next to these bones, a pyramid and a few other pieces of religious-looking, half-buried architecture are located. Just behind these ruins are 3 NPCs, 2 looking down at the third who lies on the ground. The 2 NPCs say he's a dangerous prisoner, and the so-called prisoner says, "It's been a rough day at the office." That does. More NPCs inhabit Namor as well. We can find one outside a small building on the edge of the desert next to a horse-like creature called a crawler. This NPC says, "All the healing water
I like
is
this
gone.
kid, he's
I've heard
good."
to get some, you have to go all the way to Palethar." We can find more of these crawlers as well, belonging to 2 bandits who demand your money to pass. Namor is starting to show off just how dire the situation in Mycena is within the story of the game, though there is nothing too unusual here so far, aside maybe from the smiley face hidden in the tower. Clearly, outside of just the morbid story being told in the game, there's breadcrumbs left by the developers themselves, and in all likelihood we'll be able to find more further into these levels. So we have a laundry list of possible levels to explore at this point. Let's hop into Palethar next and see what we can find there. Palethar is an even bigger change in scenery. A series of stone pathways connecting these tall, rocky structures. Peaceful music plays, the sky glows at dusk. The note for this level is also left by David B. This area needs fall protection, and he's right. If you fall here, you'll be stuck in an infinite falling loop. Luckily, we can just no clip out of it. One of the strange things about this level is that, according to the local item browser, there appears to be an absurd number of the same object here, but it's one we can't actually locate in the level. Door A1. If you've clicked on any other item at this point, interacting with this will simply open the last item you've inspected. But if this is the first thing you interact with, it will open information for an object named House 01A with the description, "A house devoid of," and then a keyboard mash. Very strange. Following the stone pathways, we'll come across another statue of the Torn Knight, and an NPC titled Crestfallen. It has a 60% darkness rating and is reflected in their disposition. "I've given up. You should do the same." Oddly, another NPC can be found here underneath this one. This one says, "All the healing water is gone. What a waste." Jot that one down. Further on, we can find a monk. "Welcome, traveler. I'm afraid there isn't much to see of the city nowadays." Another monk further along expands on the fate of this once bustling city. Palethar used to be known as the City of the Forest, but since the water is all gone, all the trees have withered away. Yet another stares off into the sky at a dead-end drop. "All the healing water is dried up, and the trees have died. What will become of us?" Like Namor, the drought of the healing water that seems to provide for the realm of Mycene has left this place in ruin and its inhabitants on the verge of destruction. Utilizing our ability to no-clip, we can find a traveler in a small cubbyhole on one side of these massive stone structures, a character that would be otherwise impossible to access without our ability to fly. Standing next to their boat, they say, "Greetings. Do you seek transport? Cheap riffs to Exception 8 are in stock." Very odd naming convention, but we'll note it down as well. The boat here also seems to suggest that there used to be a body of water here in Palethar too, but it's also possible this is just a magic boat that the traveler uses to move through rifts. I don't know. Inside another inaccessible cubbyhole, we find a new weapon, the Serpent Fang. This weapon does a lot of damage and is labeled with 100% darkness. Taking this sword back to the graveyard and crossroads to the Serpent cultists grants us new dialogue. "Amazing, you found it. Go ahead and keep it. Now that it's found an owner, everything will be fine." I don't know how much I trust that everything will be fine, but it does do a lot of damage, so we might as well keep it. Palethar begins to expand on the devastation of this world since the drought began, and on its smaller inner workings, from the cult members to the monks. The issues in the various communities in Mycene seem to be increasing, so I think we may find more answers closer to the source. Let's check out Mycene Castle. Mycene Castle is located in a dark, rainy forest. Thunder cracks, lightning sends bursts of light across the landscape and the walls of the ominous castle at the center of the level. Nearby, a pond shimmers. The note on the level reads, "Starting area okay, outside town needs work," which may just be copied from Havenwood. 2 guards stand outside the entrance of the castle. "Be on your way." Both have a bit of darkness. Entering into the grounds of the castle, we find more guards. Things seem dire. "We tried everything, but the kingdom is lost." The doors into the castle are blocked by a collapsed tower, and a guard waits here too. "No one is allowed inside right now. The king is sick." A quest NPC nearby says, "Please, the guards won't believe me. The Minotaur, it lives in Crimgur Dungeon." We'll have to circle back around to that. No clipping into the castle model itself, we can find a group of characters huddled near the top, lying, wrapped in snakes, overcome by the serpent's curse. It's the king. He's dead. NPCs stand around his body. "It had to be done. It had to be. You shouldn't be here." It seems the king was overcome with the serpent's curse, and those around him were forced to put him out of his misery. The kingdom really is on its last legs. Outside the castle grounds, there are a couple things to find. For one of the only properly textured NPCs we can find, a muscly man stripped down to his skivvies. A damned witch stole my clothes and axe. This is a frickin' sweet reference to Morrowind, where you can find an NPC in a similar predicament. Shout out Morrowind. In the hills surrounding the castle, we can find an NPC who says, "I'm not afraid of mountain trolls. I'm from Wakelita Summit. We have real trolls out there." And sure enough, we can find a mountain troll enemy standing among the hills nearby. Mycenic Castle reveals just how close this realm is to the brink of collapse. And though, again, we do have a laundry list of other levels we could load up, I think for the purposes of this video, Wakelita Summit is the perfect next level to explore. Wakelita Summit is a frozen winter forest all surrounding a towering mountain. Though the level is impressive, the note reveals that the publishers were pushing it to be cut from the game, possibly turned into DLC later. Nearby the base of the mountain, there's a log cabin with an NPC and their dog. Be careful if you plan on going up the mountain. Close by, there's a small village of additional cabins. Exploring the forest surrounding the mountain, we can find a door built into the hill called Mine Tunnel End, though there is no mine in this level or any other level. Perhaps another piece that was cut. Further into the woods, we can find an icy monolith with a 100% darkness rating. If it looks familiar, that's because it's very reminiscent of the one we find in Basilisk for the SNES. Interesting. Continuing our exploration, we can find a clearing in which a massive ice drake enemy stands, seemingly a potential boss battle. Along to the mountain itself, the path up the side winds around, giving us a full view of the forest below as we ascend. At the top, there's a small graveyard, again with bodies underneath. There are 2 plates like the ones found in Chapel 00 here as well. A dying, choking howl echoed through time, though no one could hear, for it was so long and so deep as the rumblings of the earth itself. It died one day, and the silence could be heard. Its absence was noticed by all. These plates lay beneath a massive sphere of stone labeled Broken Moon. Here's where our developer tools come really in handy. If we move this object out from being embedded in the mountain into the sky, a new level begins loading, titled Moon. Moon is very different. The first thing you'll notice is that the environment expands over the whole screen. The dev UI is gone. The game pops into full screen. Ghostly piano plays as we explore the surface of the moon.
Hell?
Stars sparkle in the inky sky. As far as I can find, there's only one thing of note to find among the craters and dust. Encased in a glowing sphere, there's a strange, almost fetus-like shape. A cold angel rests here. What's most odd about this level, aside from the unconventional way you access it, is the format in which it appears on our screen. Removing the UI and filling the whole screen, it feels out of place, like it wasn't intended to be a part of the game, but instead something the developers added to the level editor itself. In addition to that, it doesn't appear to have any direct connection with the world of Mycenae or the story of the game as of yet. It's like it was a secret left for someone using this editor, perhaps for another developer to find. And this isn't the only level in the game to do this. The name Taurus was brought up a little while ago in Havenwood. Loading in here, it's a weird level. Floating in a void, there's a large, shimmery torus shape with an NPC titled NPC David. We've heard that name before. David says, "My milk went bad today." A few seconds after he says this, it loads a clip of David Lynch.
This is a donut. It is very sweet and very good. But if you've never tasted a donut, you wouldn't really know.
So maybe that isn't David B. Maybe that's just famed director David Lynch. Either way, after this clip plays, it loads you into a new level, Erase. Similar to Moon, Erase pops into full screen. The disturbing audio of what sounds like crying plays in the background as we take in the equally horrific environment. Spinning meat, shifting lights. The ground is a sea of blood and viscera, some of it formed into an intersecting pattern of circles. Floating in the air are gray shapes similar to that of the angel on Moon. We have a limited time here before the level boots us out, but in the time we have, we can approach these floating creatures and find that they have ominous messages for us. Bring death back to feed the snake. You are chosen. Erase is even stranger than Moon. It definitely doesn't feel like something that was intended to be accessible in the game proper. So why is it here? Why is it so horrific? What are these angels and what do their messages mean? Feeding the snake feels like it's a reference to the Basilisk, which would draw us back into the game. Or perhaps a message for or from the developers that is being communicated through the game. Moving back to the perhaps more typical levels, the next level I want to look at is found in a bit of an unconventional way. Looking through the various soundtracks in the audio player, you can find a song that hasn't appeared anywhere else as of yet, titled Arena Loop Draft. So let's try loading up Arena. Here, we find ourselves in a pretty standard medieval arena. Billboards of crowds watch from the stands as we face down various other fighter NPCs that are spread around the arena. The note here says, I don't think making the player fight each boss again in order is a good idea here, which is just very funny to me. Each of these fighters have unique dialogue, mostly readying for battle, but one pleading for mercy. If you set them to 0 health, or just use a weapon on them to attack them, the crowds cheer. On either end of the arena, there are entrances where the gladiators enter from. One is a dead end, but another leads to a system of hallways. One path leads us to a large chamber where another NPC waits for their turn to fight. I can't wait! Another path leads you to an accessible part of the audience. Outside the map, a floating axe item can be found as well. Finally, perhaps the strangest thing we can find here. Down one of the pathways inside the arena, we can find a door, but it's very out of place. Its textures and rendering are oddly realistic and high-res for a game made in 2000. At the very least, the rest of the game we've seen so far. And it's modern, like a photo scan of a modern alleyway or hallway dropped into the game. The music changes to the ominous null string, and concerningly, this door seems to be covered in crime scene tape. Something happened here, and by the looks of it, it's not something in the universe of the game. It's a recreation of something real. Our ability to move forward is blocked here by an invisible object that gives us the text skinned in red. Speaking of darker elements in the game, remember Krimger Dungeon mentioned in Mycenic Castle? Let's try looking there. It's a dark, maze-like dungeon scattered with rats and corpses. Interestingly, these rats have a null dark value and actually talk to you sometimes, so it's sort of a subversion. They're not enemies. The note for this level reads, this area might be too large for its use. This level seems pretty standard for a medieval RPG, but there are some unusual things to find here. For instance, here's one of those talking rats I mentioned. Hey there, watch out, the Minotaur is still around. Sneeze, sneeze. Coming from a wall nearby, you might hear a sound. It's this dark, deep, slowly ascending and descending sound with no discernible source other than the other side of this wall. Similarly, down another path, you can hear a strange shimmering sound coming from the other side of a wall. It's strange. There are some more typical finds in this dungeon, though. For instance, this incredibly powerful sword called the Blood Sword, or this massive Minotaur boss in a chamber of corpses. The Minotaur lives! Not for long, though. One thing we can find that seems very important to the plot is this error object. It's labeled Object Health Fountain 1, and gives us the text Healing Fountain. It kind of sounds like this may be a solution to the drought of healing water. Further into the dungeon, you can drop down a pit into a room with another one of these plates. Woe upon all who enter here. In the adjacent room, there's a large, important-looking door. However, all it says is door to missing. It seems there was never a level built to lead from here. Now, there are a few mysterious sounds in here, but mostly it feels like we're progressing through the game's main plot. Bigger weapons, bigger bosses, and maybe the beginning of a solution to the game's conflict. However, when it comes to the rest of the levels we have to explore, there are going to be dwindlingly less that are this straightforward, and a lot more that seem to continue exploring these darker elements from the developers. We've thoroughly explored the surface, and it's time to go a little bit deeper. We first discovered Waste through a hidden NPC in Pale. Loading it up, it is not what you might expect out of a medieval RPG. A post-apocalyptic cityscape. Just the null string audio playing, giving the impression of an unsettling ambient wind blowing through the buildings. The note reads TBR, to be removed. This level was never meant to be released. A thin, stretched frame extends around the map. Aside from the ruined buildings and wrecked cars, there's a lot to find here. Some of it is relatively innocuous and seemingly just Easter eggs from Kira, like this Dark Souls screenshot. Others appear to be remnants of abandoned development, like this error titled Trigger Missing Dead. However, the most interesting stuff to find here appears to be pieces left over from the developers. Angry messages, strange noises, decals of text can be found all around the map, from innocuous messages like data to more forceful ones like remove this world. Some of the messages are left through other means. There are multiple skinless NPCs titled NPC ? With unsettling things to say. I no longer sleep, lest the dreams come true. Every day is the exact same until death. Also worth noting, one of these guys can be found in Crossroads. Doesn't have anything to say, but I didn't realize that until after I'd edited Crossroads. So either way, these developers are going through. In all seriousness, this does seem to suggest more of something terrible plaguing the developers behind the game. The details are still too vague. Some of the pieces left here aren't just text either. Under the map, we can find an image of the Basilisk's eye from Basilisk SNES, and elsewhere we can find a low-res section from a Bosch painting, Hell, depicting some kind of demon pulling at a distraught man's arm. Perhaps the most striking things you can find here in Waste are the creatures. The first one I found was facing the corner of this dilapidated building. Flickering in and out of existence, along with the strange sound that accompanies it, is some kind of creature. It's stuck walking into this wall, appearing and disappearing from reality. They look similar to the crawlers, but they're definitely different. Another one of these can be found stuck near a wall elsewhere, nearby some text that says unpleasant. And we can find one of these flickering creatures actually wandering through the map, emitting an almost musical drone. Playing through, I'm not 100% sure if it roams the whole map or if there are actually a couple in different parts. Either way, these don't appear anywhere else in the game aside from this map, one that was never meant to see the light of day. Waste really is hammering in the developer's penchant for venting through their development. This place is uneasy and almost cynical. Every day is the same until death. It might almost come across as just complaining about working crunch time or working a 9 to 5, but the crime scene tape and mentions of dreams coming true and the odd levels like Moon in a race, it feels like there's something more here. And like I said, we're only just beginning to reach deeper. The developers left a lot for us to dig into. For instance, the Hall of Skeletons. So what's behind the mysterious Hall of Skeletons? This. It appears to be a sort of Easter egg, a place where developers just mess around to be funny and leave it to be found by players. This isn't super uncommon in games, especially of this era, to have a fun little developer secret. David B is even here scolding the designers. Alan, what is this? We have better things to work on. I'll be honest, and this is really just a personal preference aside, I found this level to be a bit of a disservice to the experience of playing this game. This game was supposed to be made in 2000, and so it does break things when there's a bunch of late 2010s memes. I wish that at the very least, the Hall of Skeletons was a little bit harder to find. Though it took us a bit to get around to it, it is one of the first places you find out about. And if it felt a little more hidden, like a secret from Kira themselves instead of Alan from 2000, I think it would be less jarring. But that's just more of a nitpick and maybe the only one I have for this entire project. Either way, Hall of Skeletons isn't particularly important, outside of being yet another example of explicit remnants left by the developers. But we can find even more of these by looking back at our list and loading up Office. Office is jarring. We spawn into an uncharacteristically non-medieval map. Instead, we're in a modern office lobby. Behind the front desk, there's a low-res photo of what is presumably the employees. The front door leads to missing, and off to one side there's a bathroom. Down the opposite hall and to the left, there's a small room with a poster, work, work, work. Further down the hall is the main computer room. The computer room is filled with cubicles, work-centered posters, and NPCs, who all stand in for the dev team. Like Hall of Skeletons, this seems to be a secret designed for players to be able to find, recreating the dev team's office. Each one introduces themselves by name and what they do. Hi, I'm Alan. I made all the models used in Basilisk 2000. I am very tired, lol. Hey, I'm Cassie. I do the animation and make the AI in Basilisk 2000. A few of them have some unique quirks. Greg, for instance, is titled Greg NPC Dead and has 0 health, along with a 100% darkness rating. David B, the man himself, has a 50% darkness rating as well. It is also here where we learn just exactly who David B is in relation to the development team. How you doing? I'm David Bunch. I'm the chief engineer and manager for Basilisk 2000. Though this area seems like an innocuous Easter egg, there's something darker underneath. Behind George's desk, through the wall, is a low-res photo of the office with the text, I want to leave. Leave being in yellow. His desk also has a note that reads, I'm so sick and tired of this. Some days I just want to burn the place down. Clearly, the development process on this game has not been as chipper and cheery as they're trying to portray. But perhaps most concerning is what is found underneath David B's desk. A low-quality photo of a gun, with the text, not going to keep taking it. This object is named just in case. Something is clearly very wrong with the development of this game. From the messages of anguish to multiple employees ideating about burning the place down, and David B either considering taking his own life or everyone else's. And unfortunately, we can find out exactly which one it is. If we set all the NPCs' health to 0, except for David, a new level is loaded. We are reloaded into a darker version of the office. The echoing sounds of gunshots can be heard. The front door has been blocked by chairs. In the bathroom, Dave, not David B, is hiding. I can't let him find me. Patches of blood stain the carpet. In the computer room, the rest of the employees are scattered across the ground, dead. David is nowhere to be found. Each of their bodies hold dialogue that seem to have been their last words. Interestingly, Greg's is, I should have expected this. The note on George's desk now says, I didn't do it, please. This all but confirms that this was, in fact, David B's doing. It's very unsettling to sit among the carnage. It's startling and stomach churning. The first question here is whether or not this is David B, the overworked part of a clearly very unhappy dev team, living out a dark fantasy caused by his depression or anger at the development and the team, or if this is a recreation of David actually snapping. Other devs here seem to fantasize about burning the place down, but it's specifically pointed out they wouldn't do this. Similarly, that realistic door with police tape found in Arena seems to suggest a more realized aftermath than one would typically find in a dark office daydream. We still need answers, and I think the best way to find them would be to keep following this particular rabbit hole. Let's load up Leave. Leave is a strange one, but it makes a lot of sense in a way. It's an airport. The starting area is small and barren, just a few blank terminals. Planes sit on the runway outside, along with some buildings. The note for the level is simple, all that's left to do. It almost seems like it's implying that if what David B did in Office truly was real, this is his plan afterward. Just to leave it all behind. In the corner of the map, a plane is crashed into the ground, halfway in a building. The description of this object reads, Doris drowns in doubt. It's almost disturbing how much of this game's file space has been dedicated to the darkest thoughts and perhaps even actions of its developers. It's like the development completely went off the rails and instead became a place to vent the deepest, most frightening parts of these developers' lives. And speaking of the behind the scenes of this game's development, we have a couple levels here to circle back to. The name Exception 8, if you'll remember, comes from Palefar, where a traveler offers you a ride there. It doesn't have quite the medieval twang the other level names do, and that's because it is yet again another piece only meant for developers. It's a testing map. The note for the level reads, Flora test looks okay. David Sues. It's mostly a flat plane with trees, and a few small pieces of architecture like these columns and a few errors. One of these errors is used as a light beam. Another is titled Greg Dead with the message, get to work, blah blah blah. Yet another gives us the text, Alan is tired. So more venting from the developers, though slightly more innocuous, except perhaps Greg being dead. Aside from this, the only other disquieting thing to be found is that a certain area of the map begins playing audio called Menu Old, Do Not Use, which is a sort of windy, staticky sound. The thing about the naming convention of Exception 8 is that it seems to suggest an Exception 1 through 7 as well, and there is one more exception level, Exception 7. Just like its counterpart, Exception 7 is a testing plane, but it's a little more densely populated, with a few different little environments set up around the map. For one, a series of textureless items and buildings set up in a line. Plates, pillars, gravestones, houses, vegetation, weapons. Floating above them all is a fish-like model with what looks like the fetus texture from Moon and Erase. It's difficult to parse, but looks vaguely like an ultrasound. It's titled Sunfish. Another series of buildings is nearby, set up as a mock-up village. A serpent enemy stands by a building with the text, I am an enemy. Then, outside each door are a series of NPCs, all with pretty innocuous text. I am a knight of some sort. A comically squished character says, I am a child. Seems like a place to test NPCs. Another, smaller mock-up village is also nearby, with various NPCs who give out quests, or tell you that they're completed. One says, the quest is done, and barks. Again, this is all fairly innocuous, but this level has one secret that is really the turning point for the story of the developers. It begins to shift everything towards a much more disturbing path. A small textureless cube sits in the very corner of the map. It's easy to miss and seems fairly unimportant. When you walk into it, however, an image flashes on screen. A blurry photo of an empty office and a bloody shape, something vaguely lizard-like. The basilisk from the games. But this isn't just a model in the game, this is a photograph, and what's more, a photograph that seems to have been taken in the office this game is being developed in. How is it there? Did it come out of the game? Or is it the opposite? Is the game being made based around this creature? As of now, it's unclear. It's seemingly very rare to get this cube to spawn when loading Exception 7, and after the image disappears, so does the cube, and the crying sound from Erase begins playing. If you see the cube once, you're not likely to see it again. With such a strange revelation that it's possible the basilisk is real, our questions begin multiplying. The next place to look for answers would be Desirist. Desirist feels a bit like a relief. It's a level that looks like it may have actually fit into the game. Still, it has an off-putting air to it. A desolate, dark city with a nebulous sky. The note here says, this area TBR next build. Not important enough to relegate disk space. David B. That name carries a darker weight now. Beneath the map, printed on the skybox, is a piece of text that says, I'd die 1,000 deaths if I can die with you. Throughout the city, the doors into these buildings are inaccessible. We can get a peek inside these buildings, though, in a strange way. Throughout the map, there are these windows peering into dark hallways and rooms. The effect on these windows is strange, though. It's like they're images that have been superimposed, tracked to the camera and parallax, but just a little off. They all appear to be looking into the same place, just different parts of it. rooms filled with water, dimly lit halls. There's actually a load trigger behind one of these windows, trigger load hallway, though no such level exists. It seems like there was a plan to load you into the place we see through these windows, but that level was never created. There are also remnants of other pieces of the game, such as a kill player trigger behind the door and an error standing in for a butcher shop sound effect loop, though we can't actually hear the sound. The part that's most interesting, though, starts with this statue of the Torn Knight. The figure emits a low, pulsing hum, and when you get close enough, a sound plays. Almost like we've activated something. Continuing to explore, a brick wall near one of the shops also activates another sound. We're onto something. Right around this vent in the ground at the end of the hall, another sound activates. Then this corner here. Then, there's no more sounds to be found. It's strange, but there is one final place we need to visit. The final trigger is here, around the window peering into the room filled with water. After wandering this area, when you leave, you'll find a few new things around the map. Firstly, this creature. It's a headless figure called NPC Headless Dead, with 100% darkness. It's really unsettling to stumble upon, but what exactly it represents? I'm not sure. It will also spawn 2 tombstones, and here's where things get interesting. The text both of these tombstones contain seems like nonsense, but running them through an AMSCO cipher, we get a string of text. My attempt at translating the string of text reads, "I don't think it was me, not the murderer. What if I was the murderer?" The only person I can think of who may be a murderer is David B. So did he really kill his coworkers? Or maybe not. Maybe his questioning of this fact leads to the idea that it was just a fantasy. Or perhaps even David B doesn't know. His conceptions of reality and fantasy blur. The other tombstone translates to, at least by my attempt, "I didn't just happen on it. Maybe I did. But it was the perfect basilisk." Again, there's this line here questioning his concept of reality. Did he just happen upon it or not? But most interestingly is that this seems to once again refer to the basilisk. And if we're saying this is David B and not related to an in-game story, it would be another point connecting to this seemingly real photo of the basilisk in the office in the real world. Desirist, with all its secrets and reveals, still does very little to explain what's really going on here. It's pushing us in the right direction, but we can't see where it leads. And we're running out of levels. We've hit a dead end. Almost a dead end. Remember that broken talisman, the one with RHZ written on it? Where's the other end of it? What is the completed level name? Well, there isn't one. We're just gonna have to guess. I do think I read somewhere that the other half was actually intended to appear in the game and it was accidentally left out, but I'm not sure. Either way, for a medieval game about myths and monsters and cults, one word does come to mind immediately: ritual. Ritual is a barren, red wasteland. Some buildings sink into the dirt, skeletal trees sparsely populate the cracked ground, and a massive serpent enemy stands at the base of a mountain. It seems like this is the final boss fight. The boss is titled the Torn Basilisk, which is interesting considering the name of our legendary hero, the Torn Knight. Surrounding it are various triggers, most appearing to activate a different phase of the boss fight, but one activating the boss theme, Basilisk Fight. It kinda goes hard. But the note for this trigger says, "George, this track will not fit the theme. Did you not even read my script? David B." Moving away from the boss fight itself, clipping through the ground are a series of 3D computer models laid out in a line. Each one has a note read from left to right. Watching videos of that project gives me strange feelings. Like, I miss it, but at the same time, it was kind of traumatic. I was so rushed, and in hindsight, I shouldn't have cared so much. And now it's a part of something I don't even like. But I'm proud of the work I did on it. I guess that's what normal development feels like most times. Like putting yourself into work that will end up bad before it reaches anyone. And then looking back and missing it, but also hating it. It's just sad. But I guess I have it to look back on. I don't know where I'm going anymore. What am I doing? Why am I even writing this? My whole life is spent living in the past. I don't know any other way though. Sometimes I want to break out, but sometimes I just want the safety of it. I feel like I should have died a long time ago. I'm living on borrowed time or something. I don't know. I'm just tired of this. I'm just uninspired at the moment. Ignore me, please. This feeling sucks. It's possible these were left by one of the many developers who've worked on Basilisk 2000, as we've seen their unhappiness with the development process. The writing doesn't seem to fit in the late 90s, early 2000s era though, so it's possible this is the reflected musings of Kira themselves. Either way, this is actually very thematically important, so we'll be coming back to it later. Going back to the boss fight, if we set its health to 0, it loads us into a cutscene, where the narrator gives us more exposition.
With a final, desperate strike, the hero tore open the skin of the snake. The Torn Knight, long worshipped for vanquishing the basilisk and creating who became, turned out to be nothing but a misshapen myth. The basilisk was indeed a man, a knight, a cure for a starving world, when the true cure lay guarded behind the tyrant's walls. The man killed ultimately and indiscriminately, until no one was left starving but himself for blood. He became a vile thing and created a vile world.
Mortal's good. I'm enjoying it. It's alright. It's kind of slow. Got killed a lot at the start of it because some dick wanted to, you know, just be that way. Other than that, it's going pretty good. They added a new task system, and that's what I'm exploring tonight. You go kill like 5 things or whatever, and then you get rep with your city, which is good because I murdered so many people in Tindrum that I'm banned out of there. But this town I'm in, despite being a lawless town with no cops, which is why there's so much murder here, it is in the Tindremic provinces, which is like the country. So if I do tasks here, it will fix my reputation. And he just added this system like 2 days ago. And so that's what I'm messing around with today. The Taskmaster is like back here in the corner. It's dangerous to stay in town, but sometimes you're fine. Sometimes you're getting instantly murdered. It's sort of weird. So I'm okay right now. But yeah, there's this task manager sitting right here, a Taskmaster hunting, right? And he wants me to do like a hunting task to kill 5 bush pig. You don't get any renown. But I'm sorry, you do get glory for this, and hunter renown, and but no standing and no wooden theron. But as you go up, I think as this goes, you do get 40 silver. I think it does get better. I think. I'm not totally sure. Oh yeah, here's my renown, right? So hunter renown is 26. So I do get right. You need oh, I see you do. You need, so it's a whole system. You work your way from bush pigs to Belbuses, over to Tor, whatever a Tor dog is, to a Clothos maiden, to snow trolls, to niter queens, and that's the new system that they want you to do with the PvE, and that's what I'm experiencing today. It's like a really base ass fucking, you know, like old school RuneScape system. And I think he's experimenting with kind of doing a little bit few more linear things, like go out and kill this kind of thing, which I don't mind. But really, the PvP is the whole point of it. And so yeah, the system seemed pretty good. It's, you know, it's okay. I keep messing with my settings, which is interesting. I paid them for 3 months and they didn't shut me off, and I asked for a refund on that. So they might shut me off of this, which is fine by me. If I will play Fallout 76 tomorrow if they shut me off of this. But I did ask for a refund on my 3-month thing that I bought, because it was like $40 and I didn't feel right. Like something about it didn't feel right. And I've been training wolves, which was like what I came back to Mortal to do. That's going well. I'm actually, like, you know, doing well with the wolves, and, you know, doing okay. And as they grow bigger and stronger, and the more we kill together, the better it goes. It's sort of a boring game to me compared to Rust, because Rust has a lot more going very actively faster. But this is definitely an RPG, and it's got a lot of deep systems to it, and it's a good game. It suffers from performance issues and doesn't play well with others, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you know, Get him, wolf. Oh, that sounded like running. Oh, Shit, you fucking startled me. I can hunt that guy, but he doesn't have anything. Until he shows up with like a weapon and a set, I'm not gonna fuck with him. But that guy strikes me as somebody who's my level, who I might actually catch like an honest fight with, who won't like outdo me because he plays this game like 1,000 hours a week or whatever. He didn't strike me as like a total sweat, so maybe like, you know, he seems scared of me. I'm gonna go sell all this and dump it in the bank. That was 3 out of 5 hunted. There's an interesting system too with the hunting task of the 5 pigs that you're supposed to kill. You can drop the deed before you completed it, and somebody can take your quest progress, which is actually cool for kind of lower level PvP. And I like that kind of thing. You can actually steal their fucking quest progress if you gank them before they reach the taskmaster. They can steal your whole progress with it, which is, I think, anyways, which is actually kind of cool. I think that's a good system. I wish there was more people, and this hit the Epic Game Store today, so it's supposed to be, like, I went on the Epic Game Store trying to find it, but I didn't really see anything. No, I've not looked at the new GTA trailer. Like, I'm excited for GTA 6, but, I don't think it's my game. I know it's not my game. So I'm not hyped up about GTA 6 like most people. I like it, but it's, you know, and I'm sure I'll see the trailer, but you know, I don't live in the world of GTA anymore. That to me is like a single player game for the console crowd, and it's not really my vibe. It lacks the RPG stuff that I'm always looking for. It lacks the grind. It's, honestly, mostly I usually buy it so I can hear the music and drive around the town, get the cops aggroed, and have funny stuff happen. But I think I'm going to save the money on GTA 6. I didn't buy RDR2. I still haven't bought RDR2, I don't think, anyways. I don't think I bought RDR2. Yeah. I still haven't bought. I mean, I own RDR2 on PlayStation 4, like in hard copy. I own a disc of it, but I never did buy RDR2 on Steam, and I'm not the biggest like Rockstar customer anymore. I am a huge Rockstar fan. Can't say enough positive things about them. Got no issue with them. Great company, no issue with them. But you know, but the games are not up my alley. I play games to get away from reality. GTA is about as close to reality as I can think of. And so, I mean, it's like, to me, it's like a style of open world that I think was a game that I worshipped once because it was the first game to ever do it. But now it's hard for me to be immersed in Grand Theft Auto in a major way. And I mean, that's my fault. That's not theirs. I'm 40 and I feel like that's a kid's game. I don't like their combat in it. And while I like the games, I liked playing GTA 5. I've got many hours in GTA 5, like 150 or something like that, I think. I just don't, you know, I just didn't really, like, past the initial playthrough of GTA 5, I was like, oh, they might have lost me with this generation because these games don't really appeal to me. I want the game to be endless. I want the RPG system to be endless like this. Honestly, Mortal, a piece of crap game that barely can stay alive at all, appeals to me more than GTA 6. And so you can see the triple A-ness every time they kind of like lose me a little more, it's more harmful to them, and I'm not happy about that. But that's the way it is, you know. I'm just trying to be honest, you know what I'm saying? I'll read what you said in just a second. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just trying to get the thoughts out and still not get ganked, and I have like 6 gold on me. Give me just a second here, and I'll read what you said there, number 2. I don't mean to be rude. Just I'm in kind of a PvP situation with 5 gold on me. It's kind of annoying, and yeah, that's all I need, right? Yeah. every time I put 5 more gold in the bank like this, it's another whole like horse and a set that I can use later. It's good. So you mentioned, I'm sorry, let me get to and then you mentioned, hold on, I gotta shrink the chat page so I can see it better. Definitely not my main, but GTA has always been in my collection of games. I played a lot of GTA 5 with PS4, but I never got into the RP on PC. Neither did I. I didn't play I played GTA 4 with my friends in the mental institution, and like while I love GTA 4 and generally the stories are cool and I really support what they're doing, every day that goes by I'm less into the gun culture, I'm less into the violence, I'm less into the gangbang shit or the gang shit. I don't listen to hardcore hip-hop anymore, not really, not rap every day anyways. I used to a couple years ago when I was like really single and really lonely and stuff. But like, I mean, I don't really do that culture anymore. It's not my favorite culture anymore. It used to be when I was a kid. And I slaughtered the hell out of all the GTA games. And there was a point where if you had told me they were remastering San Andreas, I would have fucking jizzed my pants, frankly. But like Rockstar, oh, my wolf has been killed. Why did my wolf get killed? Oh, someone killed my wolf, and I don't know why. My wolf got killed. Why? Who killed my wolf? Who's all fucking mean? Aww. Wolf has been killed. Why? I'm not really into cars, but that was my favorite thing about GTA Online was the cars. Online, I have a low opinion of. And I could go into it if you want me to, but I have a low opinion of GTA Online. I don't believe it's good service. I mean, I can go into it. I can keep it brief. I don't believe it's good service. I don't think it's that easy to play with your friends. I don't think the little mini games are very fun. I don't think the racing's fun. I don't think GTA Online is fun. And I tried. I tried a whole bunch. Why did you kill my wolf, you fucking dick? Man. Who killed my fucking wolf? Are you in the town? Yes, you are. You fucking killed my fucking wolf. You fucking dick. Yeah, fuck you, fucking dick. What? Kill my wolf for no fucking reason. Dick. No, that guy, no. He's got 60 more skill than me. He's a sweaty ball licker who sweats the bed and sucks cock all day, spends hundreds and thousands, maybe thousands of hours on this game. Understand, when you're in PvP, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's you can't go into Sauron's territory and punch Sauron in the fucking face if he sits there at the top of the fucking Tower of Mordor or whatever and owns the entire land and spends his entire time there and owns Mordor. You cannot expect to just stroll into Mordor and Will Smith smack that guy. It's not going to happen in Rust. It won't happen in DayZ. It won't happen in Mortal. The chances of winning were like maybe 1 in 20 million, and understand the odds, like when you get into it, like yeah. Yeah, it's like more pro to understand when I've already lost. It's like, you know, like understand, like there was no chance there, no chance. The armor he's wearing, it would take me 38, I think 38 full charge blows if he wasn't blocking to kill him. He can kill me in 4. So, I mean, the math doesn't support it. It's just, you know, I'm not trying to beat Debbie Downer or whatever. I'm just saying the chances of me winning are like 1 in 20 million. It's why he takes the fight, you know? Fuck. Do some graveyard camping like your fucking effing friend. Fuck you guys. Fine. Oh no, I guess you don't lose the hunting task, which is fine. Keeps robbing a fucking he like, and every time he kills me, by the way, it's, well, I mean, that time it was like maybe a gold, I guess. Yeah, it was about a gold. Killed me that time, it was a gold. But I mean, that's fine. You saw me pull in like 14, I think, or something. Doing okay. Yeah, he definitely mains this game. He's rolling in a trio right now. And I'm like just like brazenly walking around them. I'm the asshole, you know? I don't care that they kill me. Yeah, those guys own this place right now anyways. I can't do anything about that. But I sure want to give him a try. You know, I gave him a try. But, I mean, after I kill these 2 pigs, I'll have it back. And you get an idea of how little the deaths matter either. I just can't back down from that guy. I can't show them weakness or they'll fucking bully me every single time I see them. So I fight him when he fights me, right? It's all psychological. If I don't fight him and I'm a pushover every time I see him, they'll bully me every time they see me. If I fight him and I give him an earnest fight and waste his time and make it a pain in the ass for him and you know, make him work for it, they're probably be more inclined to like let me pass by. It was annoying that he killed my wolf, but the wolf was free. I got him on the roof of the house in the town. There's a task with the axe, right? And that also pays 40 silver, so it's like, yeah. Now I'm back where I lost, like you know, where I was before I lost. I can just go replace like all the stuff he took from me like right now. That's how you look at extraction. Extractions aren't about win and losses. It's about the politics of like, can you remain in the territory without harassment from some sweaty ball-licking clan, diabolicking clan. Fuck you, apple crack. Born losers who main, you know. And there we go. There's my setback and go right back to the fuck where I came. Get off me. The fuck are you doing? Fucking so annoying. Fuck off. Leave me alone, motherfucker. What? Come on. Why is he doing so little damage? Well, he lost the goal now. LMN's loot, huh? Oh my god, this fucking clown. Now I waste his time, right? Asshole. See how many times I have to hit him? My fucking shit back, asshole. 100 gold. Why would he have 100 fucking gold? What an idiot. And now I got 100 gold off him for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Oh, shit, that's bad. That's bad. 130 gold off that scrub for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna drop all of it, though. Yeah. Yoinks. I don't know what. I don't know why he stood there with 100 gold on him. I don't know what that is. So, anyways, yeah. Safe log now before he knows where I am, and I don't know why he had 100 gold. I don't know why he threw the fight. I don't know why he let me kill him. For this weird shit. 100 gold on that dude that he gave me, I guess. But I don't want that from him. I don't need his fucking help. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, dude. Like weird. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say thank you, I guess. I'm just gonna say thank you, I guess. I don't know. I robbed him and left, because it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I was just trying to go on about my fucking day. He harassed me like 11 times. I don't know why he would give me gold, I guess. But I'll take it. You know? Like, I don't know, man. Like, when I'm on Rust or EvE or any other fucking, like, real PvP, like, you know, what's the word? Non-consensual PvP game. I don't go around beating on naked scrubs who obviously only have 1 gold because I don't suck dick all day. It's a simple thing. I don't beat on nakeds and treat them like shit. I mean, I do on Rust when that's like, it's like, you know, wipe day on the weekly or whatever. But I don't sit around and wail on non-aggressor newts. That is the purview of a born loser stuck in a small pond, acting very small. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't care if I took 100 gold on him or if he's sorry or what. Like, I'm sorry. It's like the behavior itself is very weird. And then they act all weird and implodey, like they drop and they'll give you money or something like this. And the whole thing leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because it's like, couldn't we just act like normal people? I'm cool with you ganking me and all this weird shit. But chasing me around town and running circles and killing my wolf like a little child. And it makes the game toxic and I get off it. And on top of it, it hurts their little playgrounds. It's like stupid. It hurts their little playgrounds when they have to act like king shit tyrants like that. I'm sorry. Like, it's not like I, like, you know... Fucking, like, I'm just trying to learn the game, man. I don't need the whole fucking weird, like, non-consensual, fucking weird psychological fucking trip. Don't need it. Go somewhere else. Something with a lot better frame rate and, you know, and all that. Just saying. Like, you know, like, whatever. Just going about my business. Not, you know, that's not the only guy I've killed today or whatever, you know?
So, it turns out the Torn Knight was the Basilisk, and the creation myth we read was sort of a lie, a twisted...
You know, it was weird. Back in Tendrum, I don't know how I keep doing this. I had pulled 175 gold off of, like, okay, off of, like, I was walking through Tendrum, and there was, like, a 75 gold body on the ground. That dude had 100 gold on him. And I'm like, why would you ever... take that out of the bank? I mean, I guess if you have so much of it, I guess. But I don't know. It's weird for me. Like, it's weird. Like, he seemed like a nice guy. I'm not trying to talk shit. But the whole thing, it's like fumbling and weird, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. I wish they would just act normal, like Rust or whatever. Act normal. Like the weird missteps and all that stuff. That weird, like, PvP non-consensual thing. This is my town. I'm King Shit Tyrant. I own this. Blah, blah on top or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Not really. Not really. Just saying. Let's go back to what I was doing. Gotta get back. Download in progress for what? But it was fun. It was fun for a bit. I liked the task system. I think it was cool. It was cool to see it for 5 minutes, you know. I asked for the refund on the game. I bet they kicked me off the server, you know. So it was fun to stay there for a few hours, you know, till someone just fixated on me. And that's the whole entire problem with the PvP people. They fixate on you, and they treat you like shit. And they pull 7 kills when you're naked, like that gives them skill or something like that. It is incredibly uncomfortable, and I don't usually submit myself to. It's why I was out of the town immediately every time I saw any of them. Not trying to be in their fucking face. The real men are up to sovereign wars or whatever, not ganking nakeds in the fucking middle of the town. Just saying. Whatever. Not consensual is not consensual. It was PvP on a PvP server. Can't be hating on him. You know, I'm not hating on him. It's just the gold made it weird. The gold made it very weird. I was like, well, okay. I wouldn't normally have taken the gold, right? Isn't that weird, number 2? I wouldn't have taken the gold. Except he seemed to need me to, you know? So I was like, okay. You know, and the whole thing's so weird. I wouldn't ever just toss 100 gold at some new person. I wouldn't. It seems weird. It's sort of like what are the chances that they get to keep it even? Probably fairly little. You know? It's just like weird. Like they do this weird stuff sometimes. You're like, I don't know, man. Like, I just need it to be normal. It was kind of like a negative experience for me a little bit. It was like, whatever. Like, spear me, don't spear me, but don't drop 100 gold for no reason. I don't know you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't have anything to do with you. You can see why maybe the women might not like them that much. You know, because they're kind of pushy and sort of like aggressive like that. Nobody needed to bring 100 gold into it or whatever. And if he did, it was a mistake. Like, I don't know, like 100 gold. That to me is like, what, 1,200 scrap or something like that? So you walk up to someone that you just ganked naked 7 times, and the 7th time you have 1,200 scrap on you or whatever, or you come back in like a... You know, you come back in like a battleship, but you don't fire your weapons or something, and so then I get this really crazy kill, and the whole thing stinks of dysfunction. It doesn't seem normal. It's like I think they need you to feel like they did you a favor or something, you know. And I've never used tricks like that. Never. I'd rather just have an honest fight. You know, it's like kind of weird. It's like, no, I don't want any weird energy like that. It's weird. You guys have lived on your small server for too long, I think. Like most people are not that socially awkward like that. 100 gold or whatever. It's a little bit weird, you know what I'm saying? My friend Lucky, she would have been weird. Like, I wish my friend Lucky was here right now. She would have been so fucking weirded out by that whole endeavor. That was just like straight up weird. Like, whatever. Like, stuff like what just happened to me used to happen to Lucky a lot. And it's like, okay, it's cool, we get it. You really seem to wanna be pushing positivity at us or something. And it used to weird her out. It didn't used to weird out like John or Dog or Dalt or anybody, or even Tay. Or like Dino, or anybody in my clan. But it did weird out me and Lucky. When they would act all weird like that, they push some gift on you or something like that. I'd be like, I can't handle it, man. I'm obviously weird. I'm too Asperger's and crazy. I can't actually handle it. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Whatever. I'm like, it's my fault. It's my fault I'm weird. It's not theirs. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's like, motherfucker, man. I was just trying to, like, get my money in the bank. Let's go see what else is happening in the world. We have now I went to the wrong one. No, you go away. 1,000 videos. No. I like Face Full of Eyes, but no. He's lived 50 years off the grid in Appalachia. Sure. Peter, thank you, Peter Santinello, for the excellent content from my stream. I've liked and sub to your channel.
Code 6, 105 North Avenue, 52.
SWAT 4 takes place in Fairview, a fictional doppelganger of the New York City.
No, this is not what I told you to do. There we go.
If the grid went down, how long do you think you could sustain out here?
Me personally, probably indefinitely.
This is so cool. It's like a spaceship.
People's first thought is all this.
Gotta know how to do it.
Give up.
I'm gonna be right back, guys. Sorry, gonna get some ice.
Fennel really good for digestion, and Jarrow's good for wounds, and Echinacea everybody knows about. This was a very fun project. The biggest machine that's ever been on this land would be a chainsaw.
Where do you think, as a society, where things are heading?
I was very naive when I started. It's wanting a better life, but it's also being worried that the life you have back in the city is not going to work forever.
Joe, how long have you been out here for?
50 years.
50 years.
Ago, you purchased this.
I believe it too.
2.8 acres. It cost me $800.
$800.
Nobody was moving into Yancey County at that point.
Buy dead land, check mark.
State. There was land for sale everywhere, or you could just have, you know. Hey, you mind if I live in there? Sure, you just mow the lawn once in a while, you know, that kind of situation. Not anymore. Now Yancey County has very much been discovered. All kinds of people flocking.
Because we're what, an hour north of Asheville, is that why?
Yeah, it's within range of Asheville, and anything within range of Asheville is booming. Little towns that were almost abandoned, like Marshall over here. The main street was all boarded up. Now the main street is buzzing.
So how did the locals take you when you first moved out here?
By and large, they're very tolerant. It's kind of a mountain thing to be pretty tolerant of your neighbors. And that was during the Vietnam War, and there were some people who looked askance at long-haired people, as there are today, I suppose. But by and large, people are pretty tolerant. It's like live and let live.
100 gold. What was that?
Years,
What was that?
Was
It happened in Tindrum too. How did I pull 200 gold without actually getting into a real PvP fight yet? It seems weird.
No, a lot of it.
How did I pull 200 gold without getting into a real PvP fight? I've not had a fair fight yet. It's been 200 fights, not one of them was fair. Every single one of them, the guy had more gear, more time, horse, etc. And I won some of them, but nobody had anything except for the 2 deaths that I couldn't get legit, and those ones made me 200 gold, which is so weird. It was like, yeah, it was 50 gold off one. Remember the 50 gold one? Or no, it was, what was it? Yeah, no, it was like 50 gold. The guy they killed each other in Tindrum, and a body fell with 50 gold, and I was like, yoinkers, bye. And then that kid just got in some weird thing with me. It dropped 100 gold there. I mean, like 100 gold, 150 gold doesn't seem like that much money, but it does when you're kind of trying to do the game normally, and the 150 just falls out of the fucking sky, and you're like, well, okay, I'm not leaving it there, you know? I don't know.
We've got land for it, we just don't have the people.
So you're looking for people to come out here?
Little fucky.
Yeah.
Little
Just
weird.
to help, like, stay here for a little bit of time or be here permanently?
Both.
So, like, the times that I went ganking in the graveyard, I think the best one I made was, like, 4 gold or something. And outside Tindrum and all that, 4 gold. But the 2 weird deaths were, like, 200. And that's weird. It implies that certain people just have too much money to throw around or something like that. It's weird how the normal fights were, like, 1 to 4 gold. But then every once in a while you get, like, 100 or 50. And you're like, what?
Eventually, somebody's going to have to take this place over. I'm 80 years old. And I have
100 gold. I wasn't even shocked when I saw it because I was like, I've seen this before. Why does this person have this much money? It's just sort of insane.
It's like about an 8-person.
It's not that much money probably to them, but it is to me.
Eco village.
It's same. It'd be the same thing in Rust. I get offended when I kill somebody in Rust with like 350 scrap. I'm like, why? You know, you could have just gone home. You know, I don't know.
Community situation. This is a project to create what I call a paradise garden, which which is various definitions for, but one of them is a botanical garden of useful plants grown ecologically and arranged ornamentally, meaning a beautiful garden where all the plants are pretty much growing by themselves, and I can become sort of a hunter-gatherer in my own garden. I just have to remember where they are and when to get them and so on. When I started, I've been reading a lot of...
It's a good day. Yeah. Here's to a good PvP kill for 100 gold out of nowhere. Here's to...
There was all this information coming.
Exposing all the off-the-grid stuff today. I really had no idea that off-the-grid was that dirty, but apparently it is.
Out about hunter-gatherers. And a lot of interest in just...
It was good to see a new Seth Green Sauce video.
How we got ourselves into the situation where...
Let's see if Mushy raided me. I bet he did. Yeah, he's on there. He's on there alone, and he knows somehow where I live. I don't know how he's doing it. ESP or something. Or watching the stream, maybe. Might be the stream. I am a streamer, I suppose. What is scrap for? I had like 10k unused. Scrap is best used for... Well, I can't show you on this server, but the workbenches, right? The workbench chart. So the workbench is tier 1, 2, and 3. They have like... Yeah, like, so they, so if you buy your way down the workbench chart, it'll be, say, for instance, like, if you want to buy all the way down T1 to, or all the way down to T3, all the way to, say, a common one would be, of course, assault rifle, or, well, really more like bolt-action rifle, right? To reach bolt-action rifle, all the way from T3 is only about 4,500 scraps, somewhere around there, in just the T3 chart. But if you were to start at the T1 and buy your way up the chart, and you can't do that on the zombie hardcore server. Wow, did he raid me? No, he didn't. That's good. Why aren't we... Yeah, go, stop doing that now. Oh, good. I'm not raided. That's good. Yeah, what do I want here? I want a candle hat, I guess. Fuck it. So I'll show you in a second, number 2. Give me just a second. Yeah, so on this server, we don't have... This is what's called a no blueprint server, no BP server. You'll see it reflected in the session rules. Something about the VPN prevents me from seeing what the session is for some reason, but anyways, if you come here, you come to Open Tech Tree, notice that Salvage Hammer... Oh, no, I don't know why. Fucking stupid-ass Windows is so goddamn mentally fucking retarded. Goddamn piece of shit fucking Windows. Wasting my time every single fucking day. Alright then, hide it then. If you're actually hiding it, then hide it, motherfucker. Actually hide the fucking app then. What's your problem? No. I need you to not do this anymore. Stop. No. Need you to not do that anymore. Thank you. Jesus fucking Christ. Stupid ass Microsoft Windows piece of shit. Waste of time. Anyways, so here is the chart, right? For instance, if I go to the lower right here, and I can show you this, but it's not applicable to the zombie server. Now, what happened here? Oh, you're, oh, okay. Gotta change my titles and stuff. Oh, wait, no.
Warp drive active.
Oh, opening one of these clients really lagged me for some reason. Why? What is it? You opened some client. It's that one. This client, it fucked up or something. What the fuck? Anyways. There, maybe now it's a little better. Oh, there we go. Sorry, WoW had to load, I think. Let's just let the WoW do its load, because, yeah, there we go. And then, oh, wow, oof.
Docking permission requested.
Bear with me just a second. Yeah, man, what is that?
Docking request accepted.
I don't know. Seems like it can't handle WoW and Rust at the same time, so I'm just gonna kill it for now. Let me change the title. Sorry about that, guys. Missed what you said. You said a little laggy. I know. Yeah, it's opening WoW and Rust at the same time. Rust is the worst client ever made, so it'll definitely eat up like the entirety of almost all the resources. It's annoying. It's not too good of a client. You know, it's Unity. It tries. It's a good game, but the client sucks dick and is worthless and causes all kinds of problems like this all the time. There's nothing you can do about it. They promised they wouldn't do it again. They literally literally Face Punch promised that they wouldn't use Unity again. The day that Unity got their whole drama and everything, the Face Punch developer was like, "We're never using Unity again, guys. We promise." And that's good. I actually really like that. They're gonna transfer Rust to Unreal Tournament 6 or whatever the fuck when they do Rust 2. And that's so good. They're not going to use this crappy engine anymore. Rust sucks. Unity sucks so much dick. This engine is fucking worthless. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Mortal engine, they can't make good engines for open world games anymore. It's like stupid. That's why I don't have any faith in Grand Theft Auto, like we talked earlier. I don't really like. They can do the world well, but I don't know. It's just like I can't run Grand Theft Auto in the background, for instance, because they don't know how to optimize these giant cantankerous games. So here we go. So if I were to have, say, 10,000 scrap like you, I would buy down the chart. This would be 90, 75 would be 165, 240. Oh, no, that's only like, what, 25 or something? Yeah. You can see total required to buy all the way down the chart, right? To say T1 would be satchel charge is 738 scrap of that 12,000 that you have, but you can't do that on this hardcore server. And then on the T2 to buy all the way, say, to the bottom of that to like say Torpedo is 3,325 scrap. So what is that? That's like, total of 4,000 scrap there. And then almost all the items on the T3 chart are 500 scrap each. So that adds up to another like 4,000 or 5,000. So between them, yeah, about 9,000-10,000 scrap to cap out on any normal server in Rust. There's only a few that don't allow you to use. There's only a few. There's probably maybe out of the 100. I don't know how many servers are on Rust, but like however many this is, there's like 3,000 servers in Rust. Maybe 5 of them are. No BP. No, they call it no tech tree, no tech tree. But it is a popular meta right now. Like, for instance, on the first week of Stevius is a very famous Rust streamer. He looks like this, right? Stevius mentioned, I caught it on one video, that the first week of Stevius solo duo trio wipe, which you can see reflected here. I'll show you Stevius real quick. He apparently he was messing with no tech tree, but only about 5 servers in all of or Stevie, I'm sorry, Stevius is the name of the server, but Stevie is the name of the streamer. He's got 1 million subs and all this. He's got a new movie out, like about a month ago, The Tale of the Taxi Man, right, and the breaking point of a toxic clan and all this. And so he's a fairly famous streamer, and he embraced the no tech tree thing on his servers, and they're doing some of the best out in the world, actually, I believe. Like, right now on Modded, up at the top, if you sort by players, you will see that, yes, US Stevius is the most popular server in modded Rust. And on this server, you will see a drawn difference between what you and I are used to, number 2, which is no tech tree, right? No tech tree on the zombie server, right? But up there on Stavius, they don't have tech tree on that one either. The first week of the... I'm sorry, on his monthly. His monthly is here somewhere. There will be a Stevius monthly here. It's not as popular this late in the month because we're right at the end of the wipe. There's only 3 more days in the wipe, but there it is. It's US Stevius Large, right? No, not... It's one of these, but anyways. One of these servers, he does like... Ooh, that's kind of cool. It's 10 in the morning. Let's go on an adventure. I think I can use a kit. I don't know. Gold supporter. There we go. Yeah, sweet, sweet. Yep, awesome. So now, I need a suppressor, so I've got to go out and farm. But I'll take tools and stuff with me, and fuel, since I have quite a bit of fuel here. Yeah, I can go boil more too if I need to. So we'll take 50 fuel and about 85 cloth and a hammer, and we'll go take a naked candle hat set out there somewhere more interesting than here. And I'll use the hot air balloon to get the lay of the land, because I don't really know this neighborhood very well. I haven't been playing this server, and plus it ends in 2 days, so any progress doesn't really matter, but I wouldn't mind having a suppressor. This is a good find, having a hot air balloon right outside your base. Who's on the server? Alexei, he's a good guy. That's a friend. And Jimmy Puna. Not bad, not bad. Airfield. I gotta change my title. No. Why do I have 2 axes? That's 3 axes. There's the dome. There's water treatment. Let's go to water treatment and see if that's where the helicopter's been dropping the
So, there was a 4chan copy pasta that was going around about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that. I think it was like somewhere around the PlayStation 4 era. And it was about having to drink Mountain Dew soda in order to play your Xbox. The verification can of Mountain Dew. You have to drink it in order to turn on your Xbox. Please drink a verification can. Still feeling sick number 14, force it down and grumble out. That hit the spot. Xbox does nothing. I attempt to smile. Connecting to verification server. Verification complete. Attempting to steal online gameplay. Out of verification cans. An order has been shipped and charged to your credit card. Drink half the can. Oh god, I'm going to be sick. Pour the last half out the window. Piracy detected. Please continue the advertisement to continue. So, this was a joke a long time ago. Mountain Dew found out about the joke, and they've got an even better one. And it's not a joke. So, you may find that Mountain Dew is in your chat at some point over the next week, self-promoting their stream. This is a collaboration between Twitch and Mountain Dew using AI to detect logos and packaging similar with their branding. Let's see if it works. Mountain Dew Gaming. User MTN Dew Gaming. So we've got it.
Aww.
And let's see if we can trigger it. Alrighty. So, put it right there. I feel like a hunter. I'm like trying to bait a deer. Come on, bro. Like, we love Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew. We call on you. Please grace us with your presence. You have to say it 3 times in the bathroom with the lights off, right? And then Mountain Dew appears? Is that how it works? Bro, did we get him yet?
What?
Bro, where are they? Somebody's gotta let Mountain Dew it's not work. Let them know it's not working. What's this? Game? Maybe the game fuel. Maybe the game fuel. Bro, where is it? Anyway, so Big Dew fan, Mountain Dew raid is launching soon. Keep on #sippin' for your chance to be featured on the Twitch homepage. US 18 plus, 19 for whatever the fuck AL and NE means. Night Elf and Alabama ends on the 8th of December, okay? And then we've got a couple of other ones right here, and more posts right here. There it is again. And you can see that right here. #sippin'. Oh yeah, my camera's fucked up. I forgot all about that. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I think that should be a bit better, right? Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, that's better. We are good. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Mountain Dew Gaming. Let's actually look up the channel here, and let's see what they have to say. Twitch.com/MountainDewGaming. So it had 13 viewers. Now I've obviously got like chat hoppers and stuff like that. Okay, raid stream with Mountain Dew on Twitch. Get your chance to be featured on the Twitch homepage. Read more. Calling all streamers. Stream with a Mountain Dew bottle or can in plain sight during your stream.
Oh my god.
Once the first of its kind AI crawler spots this target, oh, I love that, you unlock a chance to get featured on the Twitch homepage or the Mountain Dew Gaming channel. Wow. How does the raid AI technology work? During the live period, the raid AI will crawl all concurrent live streams tagged under gaming solely for Mountain Dew products and logos. Once it identifies the presence of Mountain Dew, selected streamers will get a chat asking to opt in to join the raid. Once you accept, the raid AI will be monitoring your stream for the presence of Mountain Dew. If you remove your dew, you'll be prompted to bring it back on camera. If you don't, you'll be removed from our participating streamers. This is so dystopian. I love this. This is amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Shush,
so
brand.
Good. Okay, be live on Twitch. Okay, yeah.
God damn it.
You just have to stream the channel. Any prizes, definitely. Participating streamers will have the chance to be featured on the Mountain Dew Gaming Twitch channel. The Mountain Dew raid. You can be featured on this channel, guys. Listen, it's got, well, it had 13 viewers, so I told the others 79. But let's see here, branded shelf and Twitch homepage, and Twitch homepage hero carousel. Streamers will also have a chance to receive one-on-one coaching with a professional streamer / content creator. You know who needs professional coaching with the streamer and content creator? The person who made this advertising campaign. Yeah, that's who needs it. Just DM me if you want any help next time. Because this just makes you guys look like crazy assholes. Like, this is insane. It's so bad. Like, the optics on this are awful. And, like, obviously, this isn't, like, a big deal, right? I mean, it's not a big deal. But it's just funny because of how dystopian it is. It is. And so, there's even a message. Let me see if I could find this here. Let's see here. Remember, folks, people are, like, banning Mountain Dew. I mean, the AI would notice my stream. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. This guy posted a picture, but I'm not seeing it right here. Let me go back. I'm just gonna see if I can find the media pictures, and I'll find it in just a minute. Oh yeah, so here we go. And this is what they say. This is what the AI bot says whenever you, does the streamer get anything out of this? Not proof, might be worth buying a bottle. You will need to keep it on your screen from now until the 6th, though. The bot will literally call you out if you don't. Wait up! Where'd that dew go? Make sure you got those refills ready to go for the Mountain Dew raid. Start sipping 12/16. Guys, can we get a pog in chat for verification cans? Because in 2023, they're fucking real. Holy shit! They're doing it! Somebody read a 4chan copy pasta and they said, good idea. You need to drink 2 per hour or you're gonna get dropped. Yeah, exactly. Just don't buy the shit. No, I mean, like, okay, so you guys want actual, like, commentary on this, actual, like, opinion. Because obviously I'm just joking around with a lot of it. I don't really see a problem with this, like, that much. I just think it's funny because of how out of touch it is. Like, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it's funny to laugh at, but I really don't think this is, like, a huge problem or anything like that. It's just funny. And I don't know what else to say besides that. It has to be intentional. Oh, it's like that bad. It's done on purpose. There's no problem with it. It's just hilariously out of touch and desperate. Yeah, it is. It is amazing. Is it weird to say remove the can, we remove you? Yes, and that's why it's funny. Like, I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. That's the way any promotion works, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, you know, you get paid for an advertising, and then, you know, you have to keep it up for that period of time, and if you don't, they don't pay you. It's that simple. If some streamers want to ban them for promoting their stream, it's fine. If they ban anyone else, I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, I think so too. And Dumbo corporate, what's this here? Some Dumbo corporate project manager idea. Yeah, I think that whoever had this idea probably, you know, like, I'm not gonna be too mean, okay? I just think next time they should just DM me and, you know, run it by me, and we'll have a little conversation about this, and I'll tell you how it's gonna go, okay? Yeah, something like this, it's just crazy. I think the best part is they don't care if it's out of touch or desperate. It's effective. If it's effective, that's all that matters. Well, I don't really think that it is, right? Whenever you alienate dozens of streamers, probably hundreds of streamers in the comments here, that are all banning your channel from their channel, and actively saying bad things about Mountain Dew, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that, I don't agree with this idea like all publicity is good publicity. That is not true. Like, there are a lot of times whenever a company gets bad attention and it really hurts that company. It actually does. Look at what happened with Artesian. Remember them? Yeah, no you don't, because they're gone. Look at what happened with Bud Light. Look at what happened with, like Bethesda, right? I mean, like, to a lesser extent, probably not as much. Balenciaga, maybe. Disney, yeah, look at what's happening with Disney right now. Gillette, I don't know about Gillette's actual numbers, so I can't be sure about that. But yeah, I had a negative opinion after they did that one advertising promotion for sure. Diablo 4, yeah. Look at Dragonflight's a great example of it. Like, oh, everybody's talking about how bad Shadowlands is. Yeah, that works until people just stop buying the next expansion, which is what happens. So yeah, I do think that this kind of stuff is negative, and it's not helpful, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, I did see it. I thought it was pretty funny, and we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, I think we can expect to see more of this stuff. Blizzard said they killed the servers, they have to clean up infrastructure. That is what it is, right? I mean, they'll fix it when they fix it. That's all there is to it. Banning won't stop them from watching your stream, grabbing frames and detecting products and training models for the future advertisements and all data. Same with TikTok trends, people are clueless. Well, here's the thing, is that I think that's okay. I think it's totally okay for them to scan your stream through AI. You know why? Because your stream's being provided on a public platform. And if you put your stuff out there publicly, you should expect the public to consume it.
Yep.
The idea that, like, you think you can put your stream out there and then other people can't look at your stream and then use it is insane. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. Maybe somebody can figure out a way that it's bad, but I certainly haven't figured one out myself. I think it has to be Twitch to give permission. Yeah, sure. The real question is, what hell kind of content is the word? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with this kind of stuff, but, yeah, there it is, guys. Mountain Dew Gaming. Oh my god. It's just so crazy.
van camping, it was all about saving as much money as possible. Whether you traveled often and wanted to stop spending big money on hotels, or you wanted to live a frugal lifestyle, it seemed like it was all about spending as little as possible and enjoying the world around you. But lately, things have just been different. Everything has become expensive, and not just brand new vans either. Due to the growing popularity of the van life movement, it's become almost impossible to find anything that's affordable. So all this has me thinking, is it even possible to make a van as nice as these $100,000 vans for less than $10,000 in 2023? We're about to find out.
No.
To me, a luxury van should be a van that you can stand up and walk around in, so I bought a 2004 Sprinter that's just tall.
$5,400, not bad. I want one. I want a Sprinter van. Yeah.
For me to stand in.
There's perfect. No windows or anything.
Today I'm building what I consider to be a luxury camper van for less than $10,000, including the price of the van itself. Let's get to work.
Wow. Van life is cool if it's under 10 grand, you know? Please don't put windows in that thing. Please do not do that. Music's good.
Warp drive active.
The subfloor is done. I'm heading straight up to the roof to cut some holes. I'm putting in a roof vent, and no luxury van is complete without a skylight.